Over the last few weeks, many sellers have experienced a sharp drop in traffic, which has led to the question, did Etsy change the algorithm? And it's a valid concern, especially with many updating their titles using Etsy's new AI tool, only to watch their traffic tank overnight. Others didn't touch anything and still lost views and sales. And then there's a handful who actually say that they saw improvements. Whiplash much? So today we're going to unpack exactly what's happening, the speculation, the data, what Etsy themselves actually told us at eRank, and most importantly, how you should prepare as we move into Etsy's busiest time of the year. For anyone who may be new here, my name is Starla, founder of the Handmade Alpha Academy for Etsy sellers and manager at erank.com, Etsy's most popular SEO tool. And over the last few weeks, I've been reading and analyzing your comments about Etsy traffic, especially those concerning a speculated algorithmic change, or from sellers who utilized Etsy's all-new AI title tool. And while these experiences are purely anecdotal and not at all at a quantity that I'd consider statistically significant at this time, I do find the experiences interesting. For example, of the sellers who changed their titles using Etsy's new AI tool, 58% of those in my comments reported negative results, many stating that sales and views dropped, sometimes overnight. However, around 32% of sellers said that they saw a positive outcome, including more sales, more favorites, and more views, which could be explained by sellers having not so great SEO to begin with, leading to those changes actually helping. On the flip side, even sellers who didn't update anything at all are reporting steep drops in traffic. This has led to a general speculation that Etsy's punishing sellers for not updating their titles, which leaves everyone wondering, did the algorithm secretly update? As with all Etsy updates, the rumor mill has been spinning hard. Sellers have assumed that there's a hidden penalty if you don't shorten your titles. After all, this dashboard message many of us are seeing is pretty threatening. And when we see our sales nosedive, it's human nature to connect the dots and assume that there is some cause and effect taking place. But as we all know, correlation isn't causation, which is why our team at eRank went straight to the source and consulted directly with Etsy, to which they confirmed that there has been no algorithm change. In their most recent update, Etsy simply clarified best practices for titles, as their internal data shows that shorter, skimmable titles convert better because customers understand them faster. So when you see that yellow warning in your dashboard, just know that this is not a penalty, nor is Etsy secretly burying your listings. It's a recommendation, not a rule, which is good news, but it doesn't answer the question. If the algorithm didn't change, why are so many of us seeing less traffic? Rather than speculating or falling into the hype, let's look at the actual data. This is Etsy's reach across the US, tracked by eRank's site tool. Notice how steady things were through the summer. Then in mid-September, boom, a sharp decline at exactly the time frame sellers reported seeing a drop in traffic. And if those stats have you sweating about the future of Etsy, don't. Because if we compare Etsy's reach to Amazon and eBay, both popular e-commerce sites are seeing the exact same dip in traffic, which tells us that this isn't an Etsy problem. This is an economic problem. Political uncertainty, shaky consumer confidence, and the annual back-to-school dip may all be at play, but normally Etsy traffic rebounds by late September. However, this year it clearly didn't, showing us that in 2025, people are holding on to their wallets for longer. And while I just gave you a ton of valid reasons to panic, don't panic, because historically, Etsy's traffic skyrockets in October, with November being the busiest month of the year. So even though we're seeing a decline right now, you can expect things to pick up very soon as shoppers begin seeking out holiday gifts, Cyber Week deals, and nesting or decor items to prepare for the cooler months spent indoors. Which means for strategic sellers, this is the time, not to panic, but to focus on the path forward and to start taking action. When Etsy traffic slows, there's nothing that you can do to make non-existent shoppers buy. It's like holding a huge sales event at a mall that has no one walking around, which is why I always recommend that sellers focus on social media marketing as we lead up to the busy holiday season, so that you can send a bit of your own traffic as well. And as for the upcoming holiday season, right now is a great time to prep for Etsy's annual Cyber Week and holiday rush. This year, Etsy's allowing sellers to opt in to their Cyber Week sale earlier than ever before, which is great news because on Etsy, Cyber Week is historically Etsy's highest volume sales week. And you can find details as well as the opt-in and criteria for this year's event right on your seller dashboard. That way you can start preparing early. And even if you can't meet Etsy's recommended criteria, it's still a good idea to start planning for the increased Cyber Week traffic. While opting in to Etsy's Cyber Week event will help you to gain your listing's placement in Etsy's featured sales section, most shoppers will still be utilizing the search bar to make direct and specific product searches. So catching these shoppers who know exactly what they're looking for is equally as beneficial. This also means that if you have photos that aren't currently optimized for Etsy's various aspect ratios across all devices, now is the time to evaluate and update your images where necessary. Keeping in mind that around 45% of Etsy sales last season came directly from mobile search. So it never hurts to double check how listings display, both on Android and on iOS. As for SEO and Etsy's new guidelines for titles, my advice hasn't changed. If you want to test Etsy's new title suggestions or try out their new AI tool, only do it on low-performing listings or new listings, not on items that are already selling, where Etsy's algorithm has likely already identified what your item is, as well as the best audience to show that item to. As always, if it isn't broken, don't try to fix it. So no, despite the notable number of angry sellers claiming a mass algorithmic change, the sky isn't falling, the algorithm isn't secretly sabotaging you, and yes, the traffic will come back. Even when wallets are tight, the holiday season is the one time of year when shoppers still purchase. Now is the time to stay focused, get your shop ready, and keep your eyes on the upcoming holiday season. As I said before, November has historically been Etsy's strongest month, and I expect this year will be no different. Until next time, Pookie.